All right, peace, power, and love is always in greeting. Um, just wanted to jump on here today to talk about something that, one case I've been following since it happened, and I want to talk about that case in light of what has happened to the young man, Cyrus Carmack-Belton. I'm pretty sure that everybody's heard about Cyrus Carmack-Belton and what happened with him. I want to talk about that as well as um, a case that I covered on my Blog Talk podcast that actually happened right here in the DFW area in Arlington, Texas. And I was actually living in Arlington, Texas when the case with the young man O'Shea Terry happened. And I don't know if you all are familiar with it, but you can go on YouTube, right here on YouTube, and type in O'Shea Terry, OSHAE Terry, Terry. I'm sitting outside, so y'all have to excuse the birds and all this kind of overcast here in Texas this morning, and it ain't 90 degrees, so I'm sitting out here and I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna come to you from my car, from my truck, my car, from my office, from the garage, sometimes from the backyard. I may even come at y'all from the barber shop. But welcome to the big picture. I'm Melvin Siri Jr. and I'm gonna talk about O'Shea Terry right now. The O'Shea Terry case. Young man who was killed by I'm talking about Asians, so pay attention where I'm going with this. And then I'm gonna talk about y'all president as well, Ain't Shit Joe, and In Hiding Harris. O'Shea Terry, this shooting happened when I had first moved to Arlington. Matter of fact, I'd been in Arlington, Texas about a year. And this shooting happened a week before the Botham Jean shooting in Dallas. O'Shea Terry, like I say, Google that name and you will get this. You'll be able to see the body cam footage. The officer who murdered him and I was in East Texas when this happened. When I got back home that evening, I found out about it. And it was right around the corner from where I lived, from the apartments I lived in at the time. Happened on Bowen Street. And Bowen Street is a 4-lane street, one of the main thoroughfares going through Arlington, north and south. Real busy street. O'Shea Terry was a young man who was spotted by Arlington PD. He had an expired dealer's tag on his SUV. I don't know what type of SUV, but he was driving an SUV. This lady cop, and I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I'm not going to knock all cops, because all cops ain't bad. I know that. All white people ain't bad. I know that. But there needs to be enough good to override the bad. And that's what I'm not seeing in this present day and time. Which makes it hard to believe that there are good cops. But the lady cop who initially pulled over O'Shea Terry and his passenger for the expired dealer's tag, she called for backup, and when she called for backup, this Beltran, Bautran is his name. And I was doing some research on this Beltran, and he had several incidents that had happened prior to this. And my whole thing is, these chiefs of these police departments, they know what kind of cops they got out here. They know who's the good guy, who's the good cops, and who are the not so good cops. And when you have a cop like this Belton, who actually threatened a man with a knife. Not only that, he lied to his chief about a DUI suspect. Lied about a criminally negligent homicide. He also was off duty and had a confrontation with a citizen, a road rage incident in which he had his police shirt in his car and put it on in order to try to take control of that situation. So really just an arrogant, cocky cop. Okay, back to the story. Belton gets there. When he gets there, the lady cop goes back to run his information, and Belton is standing there, you know, doing the cop thing, asking him the questions and why is he so nervous and all this and all that. So they're standing there having a conversation, and I'm going to say this as well. The only mistake that O'Shea Terry made was cranking his vehicle back up and driving off. That to me was the wrong move, especially in the atmosphere that we're in today, and being a black man, a black young man, because he was only, I believe, 24 years old when this incident happened. So, when he cranks up the car to drive off, Belton takes it upon himself to hop on the side of his SUV on the running board, pull out his service weapon, and fire into the vehicle over the passenger, because he's on the passenger side. So he shoots in through the open window while hanging on to this SUV. And mind you, I told you Bowen was a very busy street, and by the grace of the Most High, there was not a lot of traffic happening at that time. Belton shoots inside the vehicle, striking O'Shea Terry. He veers across all the lanes and comes to rest on a curb up against a fence. And the reason I'm talking about this particular subject is because just last week, they gave this officer, who had infractions prior to the O'Shea Terry murder, they gave him 6 years probation. I think it was a $500 fine and some community service. I believe that's what it was. But that is very angering to me, because, you know, I'm thinking about y'all president and Miss Chucks and Pearls, and how fast they reacted to the hate crimes that were going on against Asians, and took him that long to pass an anti-Asian hate crime bill. Now, I don't have a problem with it, but if you're going to do it for one, do it for all. And see, Asians haven't been through what we have been through. I don't see policemen out here gunning down Asians every week. I just don't see that happening. So they tried to, you know, make the narrative that we were the ones that were being so hateful toward these Asians. And I'll say this. with just rights, with just, I mean, what's wrong is we were not the ones perpetrating the majority of these crimes against Asians. But the way that Asians have treated us as black men and women in this country, it's no surprise that there is some disdain and dislike towards the Asian community from the black community. I've saw several videos over these last few years, where one woman and her daughter were actually locked in a store, accused of stealing. Didn't steal anything, but were locked in this Asian store until the police got there. I mean, there was one incident that went viral where the brother went to the Asian nail shop where they had actually jumped on a woman, physically assaulted a woman. And a brother, and I give him kudos, more power to you, brother, and keep doing what you're doing, because that's what we need in this fight. We need people who not fearful of this system and not fearful of those who do wrong against us. And this brother went to that shop, broke the windows out. I'm not condoning that, but he made his point. And he went to jail. So after him doing that, what happened? Everybody, the women still, black women still went back to this same nail shop where one of our sisters was physically assaulted. But we can't get the George Floyd law passed. We can't get the anti-lynching bill passed. We can't get any help. And see, this is not something new. I mean, I'm 53 years old. So I remember the Latasha Harlins murder as well, done by Soo-John Doe, who should have been convicted of murder, but was only convicted for manslaughter, given 5 years probation, 400 hours of community service, and she's still breathing and living right now in San Fernando Valley, California. She's still living. She's still enjoying her children, her grandchildren, while Latasha Harlins' whole generation, and this is what I want you all to understand as well. See, when they kill one of our young people like that, that doesn't just affect that family. That affects us all. And what that does, it effectively removes a whole generation, a whole bloodline. No children from Latasha Harlins. No children from Cyrus Carmack-Belton. No children from O'Shea Terry. So that kills a whole bloodline. And to me, that is serious. I mean, that's a whole, no son, no grandson. So that's a whole generation gone. We will never know what they could have accomplished as they moved forward with their lives, because their lives were tragically taken. And especially in the case of Latasha Harlins. For those of you who do not remember that case, March 16th, 1991, when she walked into this store, grabbed an orange juice, had her money in her hand, put the orange juice in her backpack, and proceeded to the counter. Now, if you're going to steal something, you bypassing the counter. But she walked right up to the counter with her money in hand. The woman accused Soo-John Doe, accused her of stealing, and shot her in the back of the head. Killed her instantly. 15 years old. Cyrus Carmack-Belton, May 28th, I believe, is when this happened. And so similar. That what really made me angry and upset me was the similarities. It was so eerily similar to what happened with Latasha Harlins. This young man walks in a store, and Rick Chow is the store owner, and he's had, from what I read and doing my research, he's had several incidents at that store. And back in 2015 and 2018, he actually pulled a gun on customers in those years. But he didn't do anything criminal as far as shooting them or physically assaulting them. So there were no charges brought against him. But as we all know, in the Cyrus Carmack-Belton case, it went tragically wrong. This young man walked in the store. They said he grabbed 4 bottles of water. The store owner accused him of trying to steal the bottles of water. And from what I gather on the videotape, it shows him putting the water back. And then it shows him walking toward the door. And then they say, I haven't saw the video footage yet, and I'm definitely waiting for it to come out so I can look at that with my own 2 eyes. But they said that the young man took off running out of the store. There's only a couple of things that's gonna make me run. Not much. A dog that I don't know that's coming towards me, or if somebody pulls a gun on me. And this man had a past. Rick Chow had a past of pulling his gun out on customers that he suspected of shoplifting. I don't give a damn. An orange juice is not worth a life. 4 bottles of water is not worth a life. See, Black Lives Matter. And I'm not no Black Lives Matter supporter either. I knew that was fraud from the jump. Just like Grandmaster Jay. I knew he was fraud from the front. See, we got to be careful who we follow. Black Lives Matter, we all know their story now. But I digress. This young man took off running out of the store. So, like I say, there's only a couple of things that I'm going to run from. And that's if somebody's got a dog that I don't know that's running towards me, somebody's got a gun and I don't have mine. I like breathing. So I'm going to try to preserve my life. So, he takes out running out of the store, and this Rick Child's son takes out running after him. Says he has a gun, which I find hard to believe. As young as that kid was, I just don't. I don't know. And that has yet to be proven either. They say they found a gun laying by him after he was shot in the back. After the son took out running after him, he fell. Tried to get up and take off running again. The dad had joined the pursuit. And the dad leveled off and shot this young man in the back. It kind of takes me back to the case that happened in Tulsa when the man was trying to run away. No. Which one? It's been so many. But it takes me back to the video where the man's trying to run away from the cop and the cop just shoots him in the back. If I have my weapon with me and someone's bothering me or someone's trying to rob me and I pull out my weapon and they take off running, I'm going to holster my weapon and get gone myself. He's no longer a threat to me. If I pull my weapon out on a would-be robber or whatever and he runs, I'm not going to shoot him because the threat is gone now. See, the threat had left that store. He didn't steal anything. The water that he picked up, he put it back in the cooler. But he was still shot and killed. That bothers me tremendously. That enrages me. We don't have any allies. We have got to start being each other's allies. We got to be careful of these fly-by-night groups that pop up and profit off of Black Death. We've got to be careful of who we follow in this fight, because see, I'm not going to lead anyone into a bloodbath. Yeah, I truly believe in self-defense. I don't support violence, but I do believe in self-defense. And I say that to say this: now is the time for self-defense. Now is the time for us to be concerned about our well-being. It's about survival. And we have more and more incidents happening where we are murdered by police or regular old everyday citizens. Just like the case that recently happened when the young lady lost her life behind the racist white woman that shot through the door at her. She wasn't a threat to that woman. She didn't kick that woman's door in. She simply knocked on the door. But we can still suffer without getting help from this system. This is why I don't give a crap about this system nor its injustice system. This government has never been for us. And I'm gonna tell you, I was doing my research on this case, I ran across some stuff that y'all president said about the homosexual agenda in Uganda. I'm going off subject for just a moment, but it's relevant. As we all know, Enhide and Harris, Miss Chucks and Pearls, was over in Uganda. They offered Uganda's government, I believe it was $60 million, to turn a blind eye to the homosexual agenda, because in the majority of African countries, the homosexual agenda is looked down upon, as it should be. But this is what y'all's president, I wrote this down because I wanted to give this to y'all word for word. And I want y'all, as I'm reading this, I want y'all to think about all the black lives that have been lost at the hands of these racists and at the hands of these race soldiers. And because Uganda did not, and I don't blame Uganda, because it's not about, see, we got to start getting back to what he say do, the Most High. Not what man says is okay to do. Because for all you Christians out there, how can you be a Christian but you support something that the Most High said was an abomination? Man laying with a man, abomination. Woman laying with a woman, abomination. Not only that, it's self-genocide, which is the agenda. Genocide is the agenda to keep us from producing. So in the midst of all the police killings and everything that's going on over here, this government is worried about trying to control Uganda. And this is what y'all's president, Ain't Shit Joe, had to say. The enactment of Uganda's Anti-Homosexuality Act is a tragic violation of universal human rights. I'm going to stop right there. He called that a tragic violation of human rights. But black people dying over here in America on these streets every day is not. See, and this is why most African countries are not going along with their agenda, because they see just like we see, and they know just like we know. And living this life our humanity is not respected. Where are the human? How can they say anything about somebody violating human rights when they do it every day? And they've done it since the inception of this damned America. He goes on to say, one that is not worthy of the Ugandan people, and one that jeopardizes the prospects of critical economic growth for the entire country. I'm going to stop right there. That's $60 million that they offered him to go along with the homosexuality agenda. See, they try to push this down our throats. They're trying to push this down our children's throats. He goes on to say, I join with the people around the world, including many in Uganda, in calling for its immediate repeal. And this right here, these last words that he said, is really what made the hair on the back of my neck stand up and made my nostrils flare. I got so angry when I read this next statement. He said, no one should have to live in fear for their life or being subjected to violence and discrimination. It is wrong. End quote. He said no one should have to live in fear for their life or being subjected to violence and discrimination. It is wrong. I want y'all to think about that. Let that sink in a minute. While black bodies are dropping in these streets every day at the hands of these racists and these race soldiers, these slave catchers, he says no one should be in fear for their life. No one should be subjected to violence and discrimination. And damn, we're subjected to that every day in America. The hypocrisy of this country sickens me. The inability for this country to hold itself accountable sickens me, angers me, enrages me. And they want to be the moral compass. America is no moral compass. Nothing about America is great. When you have young men like Cyrus Carmack-Belton, O'Shea Terry, Latasha Harlins being gunned down by regular citizens, by these rogue cops, but they give the Asians an anti-hate bill. That quick. And since the death of George Floyd, how many more of us have died at the hands of these race soldiers? It's hard to even keep count. And being a Panther Party member, I keep track of what is happening with us, good and bad. You know, and it's sad that there is more bad than good. But the hypocrisy, the double standards, and the audacity of this racist president to open his, because don't forget, he the one that came up with the 3 strikes rule, which wreaked havoc upon our communities, which was it was very detrimental to the black community. Back when they were calling our children, and this is back when I was a younger man myself, this is back when I was still in my early 20s, and we were being referred to as super predators, as Hillary Clinton so ignorantly put it. And then you look at all the mess that they do, all the lives that they affect in a negative way, and they have the audacity to point a finger at someone else. They want to try to condemn another country for doing the right thing. They want to try to pay off another country to try to get them on the agenda. I stand with the African countries. I stand with Uganda and all the other African countries who are not in support with this agenda. Like I say, this agenda is detrimental to us. We're already being genocided. We're already at war and being killed daily in this country on these streets. These streets, this pavement is soaked with our blood. These lands are soaked with our blood and the blood of our ancestors. And yet and still this, as well as all other administrations before this one, fail us every time. Why do we vote? This is what I'm going to suggest for us. Call me crazy, but I'm a realist, and I know what will get their attention. We need to separate ourselves. The vote is coming up. And you can say what you want to say about me because, see, I don't have a guilt complex about not voting. I'm not voting for any lesser of the two evils. The way you look at it, the lesser of the two evils is still evil. Just like what we had to vote for the last time, and what did we do? Because Miss Checks and Pearls, and I have a great disdain for her. See how quickly we forget what she did to black men and women out in California. And then not only that, she's not a moral compass either. She slapped her way to the top. Mr. Brown helped her get to the top. Do your research. This is why I did not vote this last go around either. I'm not voting for Trump because he's a racist. I'm not voting for Joe Biden because he's an even bigger racist. I'm not voting for Miss Chucks and Pearls because she is just as worse as Trump and Biden put together. The whole state of California, black ethnicity, she didn't get, I bet she didn't get 10% support from the whole state. I haven't really done my research to see what they numbers look like out there, but I just can recall certain interviews and certain videos that I ran across where the black population said they were not voting for her. They were not voting for Biden because of her. See how quickly we forget how detrimental she was to the brothers and sisters out in California. And now that she has been made vice president, she ain't Miss Chucks and Pearls now, is she? See, that was only a ploy. One of them old, come on girl, we need you to get these black people on board. So what's the quickest way to do that? You come up with catchphrases. You come up with something catchy. Chucks and Pearls, Chucks and Pearls. And then it kills me that we fell for that mess. It really bothers me we keep falling for the same mess. I don't vote because it ain't no qualified candidate to vote for. Nobody has our best interest at heart. Only thing they want is our vote. And the only thing we get for that vote is that little old white ugly sticker that they give you. We don't get any policies. We don't get any legislation passed. We can't even get reparations. But they giving them to Ukraine. This is y'all president. This the one y'all put in office. Because I didn't vote for his ass. And I'm not voting this time around. If he run and it be him and ignorant Trump again, not voting again. And I suggest that we all remove our vote. The Democrats don't love us either. We got to understand that. And if you do your history, your research of history, the Democratic Party was the racist party. The Democratic Party is the KKK party. Most black people back then were Republicans. Even when they ran for office and won, they were Republicans. But to me, Democrat, Republican, two wings on the same bird, and it doesn't matter who's here. Democrat in the White House, Republican in the White House. What do we get? I'll wait. Somebody tell me what we get. We keep getting killed. That's what we get. We keep getting gunned down in these streets. And then somebody gonna say, well, what about black on black crime? That ain't what I'm talking about. So that's your answer for that. We all know that exists, but it's not as prevalent as these racist white folks and these racist Asians and these racist cops killing us. So I'm not really worried about black on black crime. What about white on white crime? Because see, the thing is, and I've done my research on this, whites kill whites about the same percentage as black kill blacks. But you don't hear them talking about white on white crime. You tend to have issues and problems with the people that you live around. And blacks tend to live around blacks. Asians tend to live around Asians. White people tend to live around themselves. Every ethnicity blends in with themselves. So I don't give a damn about that black on black crime. That's not even an argument. It's not even a dog in this fight. Black on black crime. That's not the problem. That's not the problem. And we can fix that. That ain't for y'all to worry about. That's for us to worry about. What y'all need to worry about is the racism that y'all created. The white supremacist nation that y'all built. And then y'all allow anyone and everyone to come over here as long as they believe in you all's ideology. I have talked to several Africans that have told me prior to being granted citizenship, they are told, do not mix and mingle with us. Because we're going to tell them the truth for one. But they're told that we're lazy, we're murderers, we're violent, we're all the things that they are. They tell these people we are. And this is not just with the Africans. This is everybody that comes over here for citizenship. I've talked to several, not just Africans. I've talked to some other foreigners that have came here. I drove trucks for 22 years. I've been all over this raggedy nation. I've been all over it. Been in all states except for 3. Well, 5 because Hawaii and Alaska. But Maine, Oregon, and Seattle. Only 3 states that I haven't been in. And I don't feel like I'm missing nothing because you've seen one, you've seen them all. And America's the same from east to west, from north to south. So, with that being said, we got to get on our game. Unity. Key word in unity, unit, meaning one. We don't have any allies, brothers and sisters. We don't have any friends in this fight. Few. Very few. Nobody wants to be treated the way we're treated. No one wants to be subject to violence and injustice and inequality on a daily basis. So we don't get help. But we always stick our neck out to help everybody. See, we need to keep our necks in and concentrate and focus on helping each other get out of this predicament that we're in. We can change the condition, but it's going to take a collective effort, a concerted effort by all of us. Stop being fearful to talk. Stop being fearful to speak out. Wrong is not the new right. Right is still right. Wrong is, and in this society, wrong is now accepted as the new right, which is a damn shame that it has to be that way. But we can change that condition. I can guarantee you that, and I have no doubt that we can't change this condition. But we've got to start. We've got to get started. See, my theory is this: buying land, getting with people who are like-minded, buying land, building our own neighborhoods, putting solar farms on those so we can get off the grid. Building our own dams so that we can catch our own water, filtrate our own water. We got to start thinking bigger than just these entertainers and all this. I don't deal with these entertainers, these actors, these athletes, because they ain't for us. They not with us. I'm not concerned about them. I'm concerned about us. I'm not concerned about nobody but us. I love us. And we got to start loving each other more in order to stop these senseless killings. Rest in peace, Cyrus Carmack-Belton. Continue to rest in peace, Latasha Harlins. Rest in peace to my brother O'Shea Terry, who got no justice, much like this system has always done us. All the way back to the Emmett Till. You can go all the way back to Emmett Till. No justice. They don't deserve no peace. With that being said, as I always say in closing, y'all think about this. Just let this sink in. What are we voting for? To keep getting murdered by these Asians? We can't even get a hate crime bill? What are we voting for? Ain't nobody got our best interests in hand. Why are we voting? Remove your vote. Make them feel the pressure. And it is time to apply pressure. Remove our money. Use our money for our good. And stop allowing them to use it for their oppression of us. Just want to give y'all something to think about. It's Melvin Siri, the big picture. Like I always say in closing. Let's plan, organize, unify. We all have a key right here and right here. I'm out. Peace, power, love. And I love y'all. Take care.